Hello there, fans. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I'm going to describe a monster movie called The Sand today. There will be spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and be cautious. The film begins with a group of young people partying on a beach. The cameraman captures everyone dancing, making out, and having a good time. Mitch, a guy, insists everyone put their phones in a bag so that no one may snap images of the wild night and post them online. Vance and Gilbert then arrive with a ball of sticky stuff, claiming to have discovered it in the water. Everyone is disgusted, but they are unconcerned. The scenario shifts to the morning of the next day. Everyone has dozed off. Mitch is with a girl named Kaylee, and four of their pals, Chanda, Jonah, Ronnie, and Vance, are in a car nearby. Kaylee is the first to wake up, and is looking about when she notices a bird attempting to fly on the sand. She assumes it's stuck, but then the bird suddenly sinks into the sand. Kaylee, who is visibly shaken, tries to warn everyone not to foot in the sand. When she turns around, however, she notices her other friend Marcia, who was sleeping naked on a bench, leaping into the sand. Her feet become trapped, and she is unable to move. The group is perplexed, and Vance tries to chase her down. Kaylee tries to stop him. He, too, slides into the sand and becomes stuck. Marcia is no longer visible. The sand has fully swallowed her. Vance cries in agony, and enlists the assistance of his girlfriend Ronnie. Vance's skin and eye are being torn out of his head as he struggles to lift his head. When Ronnie descends beneath the sand, he yells his name in terror. The group begins to conceive of ways in which this could occur. They realize their phones are in the trunk of the car when they try to call someone. Jonah tries to start the automobile, but it doesn't work because the battery is dead. The group has become stranded on the beach. Kaylee then walks up to the deck and places her hand on the sand. From beneath the sand, we observe white strings attempting to reach her palm. Mitch is astounded to see it as well. Gilbert, another of their friends, wakes up stuck inside a garbage can at the same time. He berates the guys for stuffing him in the garbage after he passed out the night before. He is warned not to move by the gang. When Gilbert learns that Marcia and Vance are dead, he is perplexed but agrees. Jonah is envious of Mitch and Kaylee as they enter the house. Kaylee and Jonah were dating a short time ago, but she is upset because Johan is now with Chanda. Chanda tries to comfort Jonah by telling him that Kaylee has finally found the right person for her. After a few hours, no one seemed to be looking for them. Kaylee locates a bottle of sunscreen and distributes it to people who are outside. Because of the heat, Gilbert is on the edge of passing out. Kaylee then begins to speculate about how this could have occurred. When they turn back, they see that everyone else at the party has been sucked into the sand as well. Kaylee then observes the sticky ball from the previous night near the water, which has hatched. They believe it was the egg of a monster that lives beneath the sand. It has been consuming humans as food. The thing must be small and have a shape, as it was only born yesterday. Kaylee devises a strategy for determining the creature's size. She goes out and buys sausages, which she then throws around the shore to see how big the thing is. Gilbert freaks out when he witnesses a bird getting sucked into the sand. He finally understands that everything his pals say is correct. The others retaliate by tossing sausages at Kaylee, stating that it is their only source of food, but she refuses to stop. When the last sausage isn't sucked in, the gang rejoices, realizing that there may be a way out. However, they are still unable to reach that far into the sand. After that, Jonah climbs into the rear of their car and grabs two surfboards. He jumps on top of one that he maintains on the sand. When he doesn't sink, everyone is ecstatic. Jonah then walks over to a neighboring bench. The surfboard moves by itself just as he is about to stand on it. Jonah is on the verge of collapsing, and the string from the sand becomes stuck in his gut. He saves himself, but his stomach is injured. On a bench, he discovers a backpack full of food supplies. He drops a banana on the ground by accident, but it does not sink. Jonah flies his hands over the ground, and notices that the banana has fallen on the spot where the bonfire was built the night before. As a result, the creature is unable to emerge through fire ash. When he stands up, the wounds in his stomach become worse, and pus begins to leak out. He begins to panic, but Kaylee calms him down by urging him to search the bag. While still whimpering in pain, he distributes out sodas and water from the bag to everyone. His injuries are getting worse by the second. The pouches of pus on Jonah's tummy begin to break as he tries to transfer a can to Mitch. He shouts out in agony and collapses on the bench. The moving surfboards on the ground indicate that the monster is still growing and developing. Kaylee discovers the threads tying themselves to the car's tires in an attempt to move it. They don't have long before the thing grows large enough to engulf the entire vehicle. Chanda and Ronnie make an attempt to get the phones from the trunk. Ronnie suggests climbing up on top of the hood and attempting to open it. She asks Chanda to send her mother the letter she wrote in a diary of Sheeta eyes, and then she stands on the hood. She is ready to open it when Kaylee intervenes, warning her that if she does, the trunk would open wide and she will fall into the beach. Kaylee hands them a rescue hook, which Ronnie can grasp. She eventually succeeds in opening the trunk. Suddenly, an automobile approaches the beach and honks at the group. Ronnie is startled, and she closes the trunk again by accident. Her fingers become hooked on it, causing her to sob in agony. Mitch and Kaylee scream at the automobile to come to their aid. The beach patrol officer is inside the vehicle. He thinks the group is high, and doesn't take them seriously. Despite Kaylee's screams that he should stay in his car, the man exits it. When he goes freely on the beach, the gathering is taken aback. The strings cannot adhere to his shoes, as evidenced by a close-up of his feet. When the officer approaches Jonah, he is repulsed by his injuries. He entirely disregards his requests for assistance, presuming that the gang is under the influence of drugs. He approaches Kaylee, and criticizes her and Mitch, accusing them of being irresponsible youngsters. He asks Kaylee to go and becomes enraged when she refuses. He threatens to use pepper spray on them, but as he reaches for it, he drops his keys in the sand by accident. When attempting to take them up, the man becomes trapped. The officer ultimately realizes that the gang was not lying, but he is powerless to intervene at this point. Kale suggests he use the pepper spray on the strings that are tying him up. He manages to extricate his hand with the help of a shower, but half of his arm is gone. The chains pull him down again as he yells in anguish. Kaylee recovers the pepper spray he dropped when he is totally sucked into the sand. Mitch now intends to run through the sand in sandals with towels wrapped around his feet to reach the officer's car. He assumes that because the officer's shoes were resistant to the beast, the sandals would be as well. Mitch tries to catch the towel Chanda throws at him, but the railing breaks. Mitch slips and falls in the sand, where he is savagely devoured by the thing. Kaylee has gotten her fill of the monster. She gets an idea when she notices the collapsed railing moving on the ground. She destroys another section of the railing and gives it to Chanda, intending to use it as a bridge later. She then climbs onto the deck and leaps onto the automobile. Kaylee smacks Chanda in the face, as soon as she landed for sleeping with her boyfriend. Chanda is unconcerned, and the two assist Ronnie in removing her fingers from the trunk. Jonah, who has been sitting on the bench the entire time, declares his love for Kaylee. Kaylee then reveals her intention to them. She intends to use the railing as a bridge to reach Jonah, then transport everyone to the officer's vehicle. Chanda grabs the railing, and sets it down on the sand. She makes it to Jonah after a careful walk. Kaylee follows suit. When Ronnie approaches them, the three are safely seated on the bench. The threads, however, catch on her damaged hand, causing her to collapse. Kaylee uses pepper spray to try to save her, but it only works for a split second. Ronnie is sucked into the sand by the beast. Chanda then dashes to her car, wrapping her feet in a towel and a bag. Before the strings can catch her, she successfully climbs onto his hood. Dilbert celebrates by cheering, but his bin soon begins to shake. His body gets slashed by the garbage can's edge, and the blood draws the thing in. The girls beg him to hold on, but the thing has into the bin, and is clutching his legs. Dilbert begins to vomit blood. Soon, he is grabbed by many big pairs of limbs and dragged to the ground. After that, the limbs shake the car, causing Chanda to fall on the hood. Kaylee yells at her to wake up as she falls unconscious. After several hours, it is now nighttime. Chanda regains consciousness after a long period of unconsciousness. With an injured Jonah, Kaylee is still on the bench. Chanda finds a raft on the officer's car's roof, and uses it to reach the bench. The three make it to the raft and the vehicle safely. Chanda and Jonah are inside the car, but a large luminous tentacle assaults Kaylee before she can get in. The monster has reached the pinnacle of its development. Kaylee climbs to the top of the car and discovers a gas can. She uses it to set fire to the tentacle and then enters the vehicle. When Kaylee and Chanda discover Jonah has died as a result of his injuries, everything falls silent. The girls cry and hold one another as they lament the loss of their pals. The next morning, a man knocks on the windows of the automobile, startling the girls. They notice that the monster has vanished, and that they may now walk on the sand. As the man calls for an ambulance, the two walk over the sand together, terrified. In the final picture, the creature is seen to be a gigantic jellyfish swimming towards Santa Monica Pier. That was most likely the most thrilling game of the floor is lava they had ever experienced. Finally, as the film comes to a close, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.